Embarking on a journey beneath the rugged terrains and fierce determination of the Gold Rush series, we unveil the glittering treasures that have left us in awe. Join me as we delve into the remarkable world of Tony Beets, Parker Schnabel, and other fearless miners, and witness their most exhilarating gold finds that have defined the very essence of discovery and ambition. From heart-stopping moments deep within the earth to the euphoria of striking it rich, these are the extraordinary tales of gold that have captured both our imagination and the very spirit of the hunt. Tony Beets and Parker Schnabel's and other best gold finds on Gold Rush. They face trials and triumphs on the road to this Olympic gold. Tony spends more money on gear in order to have his most productive season ever, while Parker's staff strives to increase their gold output. Both are determined and confident in their ability to succeed financially despite setbacks like broken machinery and lengthy road construction. The search for gold in the ancient miners' tailings pays off for Tony, while Parker's home is threatened by flames. But they both strike gold and far exceed their season targets. Tony is still committed to producing 9,000 ounces next year, and Parker is excited about the prospect of acquiring additional mining land. Gold miners like Tony Beets and Parker Schnabel, among others, share their greatest gold finds and experiences with the research team on the popular reality show Gold Rush. The Winchester lads are under pressure to impress Tony Beets with the efficiency of their wash facility, and must act quickly to do so. The strut of the plant causes a minor problem, but in the end they are successful in setting it down on the pad. However, they find that a supporting leg necessitates rearranging the sluice boxes, prompting John to construct an addition. Despite the difficulties, they self-repair everything and are now prepared to run pay. Knowing that taking risks is integral to the mining industry, they eagerly await the first scoop of pay dirt. After 25 straight hours of equipment operation, Tony Beets' crew is hopeful that they have delivered gold and broken the curse. When the gold is weighed, they find that they have 6 ounces, which is worth almost $11,000. As a result of this achievement, they are more motivated than ever to keep digging for gold. At the same time, Parker Schnabel departs for Fairbanks, leaving foreman Mitch to set up 2 plants in 5 days. Mitch intends to optimize their gold extraction process by dragging the sluice fur onto a big area and installing the super stacker. The crew is frantically preparing the sluice to flow gold before Parker returns from Alaska. A 120-foot super stacker gets hooked up and arrives at the pre-wash. Parker's staff likes the arrangement after processing valuable ore in the wash plants. Parker updates the workforce on his operation before stripping and building a plant pad in Alaska. Parker may mine the entire 90-acre runway with both wash units. A conveyor fails and an engine blows. Even though Parker's other wash plant, Big Red, has been sluicing easy street cut pay all week, yielding over $290,000 in gold. The group is happy to have exceeded last year's ounce total and will keep working hard. Tony Beets and his team are under pressure to break records this season. Their shaker deck shuts down twice, infuriating them. The wash plant is hard to run since they can't discover a 2-foot section of damaged C-channel. Despite the challenges, they innovate by welding the C-channel back into place so the material may be processed. Now that they can process the tailings, they may hope to find fresh gold. Parker Schnabel is optimistic about the season's early start and generating enough gold to cover their bills. Monica and their granddaughter bring cheer as the Beets family evaluates the week's triumphs and setbacks. Gold Rush gurus like Tony Beets and Parker Schnabel discuss their best gold hauls. Tony said the old-timer tailings made almost $310,000 when run. Parker said they found $145,000 in gold in 2 days. This week, about $460,000 in gold was extracted, more than double the same amount last year. They are happy with the results and expect financial and gold success. Fred Lewis and Brandon Clayton share resources to improve output in another scene. They believe they can increase output and profits by working together. Fred and Brandon's plant feeding loader had a tire blowout, causing downtime that could exceed their quota. The tire was fixed, and they continued working quickly. Mitch decides to clean up after 2 days and is pleased to see gold in the riffles. Fred and Brandon's partnership will be tested before their first gold weigh with Sandra and Andrew from New York City. The future season should benefit from their 19 ounces of gold every game while running less yards. Fred's largest gold grab, and the chance to raise production by 50%, have thrilled Tony's beats and his employees. Tony's preparations were derailed by frozen ground and a big frost block blocking the conveyor belt, resulting in costly downtime and lost gold. Tony is unfazed and working hard with the 80 pup to get his season back on track and reach his gold goals. Tony and his staff had completed sweeping and scrubbing their mats and run. Tony strictly forbids his staff from walking on the mats. The Beats found $328,000 in gold despite downtime and lost gold, bringing their season total to over $2.3 million. Parker Schnabel is having problems bringing in 2,000 ounces of gold and worries he won't have enough to send his crew home. He must find the high-grade pay layer before winter, but he is 800 ounces short. Rick is surprised when Troy Taylor offers to sell the land to him for 150 ounces of gold. Rick should seriously consider the offer because he has spent a fortune on machinery and is struggling to make a profit. Rick recruits veteran ironworker Kyle Lawson to manage both wash facilities. Kyle manages the plant despite his fear. They are holding their breath hoping this clever strategy would work. They also made some remarkable gold discoveries on Gold Rush. Over $500,000 worth of gold, 219.8 ounces from Monster Red and 95 ounces from Rocky, were discovered by Tony Beats. As a result of Raleigh Valley's largest goldway ever, Parker Schnabel makes a significant financial commitment towards the purchase of more acreage. Mining tycoon Tony Beats is also in Kano attempting to break into uncharted territory. Test holes he digs show possible gold deposits. In general, these gold miners are engaged in some really promising work, and they have some very lofty objectives. Tony Beats and his staff are using a ball with a strainer to separate gold from soil in a new mining operation. They are pleased with the lengthy pump they utilize to speed up the procedure when they find fine gold. Tony is encouraged by this discovery and has discussed growing the firm with his family. Parker Schnabel is pleased with his gold weight, which beat last season's record. Parker will keep mining despite the season's challenges and make the best of it. Parker Schnabel and his colleagues seek to maximize their resources in Alaska to find better soil. Parker calls in his loyal right-hand man, Mitch, to help clear overburden and keep the process running smoothly as they rush to reach 700 ounces of gold. Parker moves as much as feasible with Mitch's help despite machine repairs and a labor shortage. As they overcome challenges, the crew's collaboration and determination shine through. Parker Schnabel and Tony Beats want gold. Parker's crew must collect 700 more ounces to move Big Red to Mud Mountain. After upgrading his gear, Tony is more driven than ever to have his best season. Tony struggles with equipment, while Parker relies on their road expansion to bring him there. Despite the obstacles, they remain driven and confident in their capacity to succeed and profit. He'll make up his gold ounce deficit and protect his off-season investment. Tony is under pressure to supply gold after the buyer for his fleet of barges dropped out at the last minute. This season was the Beats family's most successful for gold production, despite the loss. Tony still hopes to reach 9,000 pounds next year. He also investigates pioneer mining waste. There may be some gold left, and since gold and petrol costs are low, now is an excellent time to look. Tony invites the crew together to learn about the hill and mine's history. After finding a wooden sluice box, they realize that only half of the gold was collected this way. Tony wants to dig into the tailings and find themselves. A sample is tested with a trommel to confirm gold presence. It's free money, so they'll transfer it to New Zealand for processing. Later, he and his loved ones head to Paradise Hill to find out if the old-timers' tailings turned up any riches. Tony needs 177 ounces every week to reach his 3,000-ounce season target. Join us next time for even more thrilling exploits, as Parker continues to chase his dreams and break new records. Until then, keep the spirit of discovery alive and let Parker's monumental achievement remind you that with passion and unwavering dedication, you too can unearth your own golden dreams. Thank you for being part of this incredible journey, and stay tuned for more epic adventures with Parker Schnabel.
About 2 years ago, Parker Schnabel decided to take a big risk on a promise he made to himself: a $15 million one in Dominion Creek. This is in the endless wilderness of Klondike, where people's fortunes can make or break in an instant with a single shovel's turn. For this particular bet, something extremely important was at risk, and the auxiliary dangers were even greater. I'm going to say that the tough ground of the Klondike was waiting for a brave young miner. Let's begin the story. The story starts at a tough place called the Money Pit, which was much bigger than their earlier tasks on the Indian River. The job was hard, the problems were big, and the costs had gone up so much more than before. Parker, with his big ideas, was moving at full speed because he wanted to win. This situation was going to cost him a lot of money. There was a high chance it might make him a real Klondike king. On the other hand, it might also cause him to think about his losses. I think that's quite a gamble. The pressure was noticeable. Parker's projects were at risk then because a big debt had come during prosperity. Going from having a full bank account to facing the worries of mining makes it clear how close success is in a hard place like the Klondike. The worry about running out of money troubles everyone involved. I don't think I could stomach such a risk. Parker Schnabel's brave decision to buy the Dominion Creek claim was like a big gamble with nature. It's exciting and risky at the same time. It's a high-stakes game. The $15 million is just a small bit of money, and as spring comes along, it becomes very high spending. It's a race against time and money, and Parker realized that time was running out. He had to finish it fast if he wanted to achieve his goal. The Dominion Creek claim was expected to be a large gold deposit, maybe giving 80,000 gold ounces or even more. That could be over $160 million in wealth. The big money was a strong magnet that made Parker want to get into the very core of the bet. But, they say, having big rewards also means facing even bigger dangers. I think he's quite courageous and we should be inspired by his risk-taking. By the third week of the season, Parker had a big turning point to deal with. The price of reducing this pay point was very high. It was like spending too much money that could break his goals. Thousands of dollars were going into the dirt, but no gold was coming out. This place was not making money for anyone. The challenges were daunting. A big step was reaching the bedrock, but melting was an even bigger challenge that they had to face. 1 foot a week for 10 weeks in all, the time was running down fast, and the money issues got worse. It got really infuriating as time passed because the amount of gold underground was not helpful when there were money problems. For Parker Schnabel, it was a big moment to succeed or fail. The Dominion Creek claim could be a source of gold, but it was also tough to manage money there. The hopes for a big empire in Klondike were in danger, while the worries about money problems kept growing. Parker's brave effort may turn out to be the next winning story in Klondike territory, but it might also end up being a warning about money lost in the rough place outside. The future of Parker's big $15 million bet in the center of Dominion Creek won't be known until later. I think he might make it. As time passed, Parker Schnabel had a big problem to solve. He thought the answer could be in the past, among the old things left by miners from the Klondike Gold Rush of 1896. These early explorers, with not-so-good digging tools, had left behind gold that could be worth a lot. This made it a possible treasure chest for Parker to check out. The plan was easy and well thought out. Parker wanted to get gold from the untouched waste near Gold Run Creek. His hope came from the idea that Gold Run Creek, famous for its gold during the gold rush, would bring in quick cash. The chance of finding gold in these leftover rocks was Parker's sign of hope, a way to earn money without doing a lot of hard work from mining. Parker decided to check if this plan worked by running a test of leftovers through a small tumbler. I believe testing is quite necessary before taking any large risks. Each pail of waste rocks meant the hope of locating gold that had been hidden for more than 10 years. As the action started, everyone could feel the energy. The buckets from old times were worked on with excitement. They moved fast through the small drum machine because they needed to find gold fast. The urgent task was to do so before a big money problem happened. Parker and his team added a little humor to the serious feeling. They talked about drinking and aging on a lighter note that made everyone feel like they were part of a team. The fun conversation made the already serious situation feel lighter. The last bit of the task was filled with guessing and easy bets. The gold in the waste was the best thing to get, and people thought it might be anywhere from 190 to 240 milligrams. When they measured the stuff, it felt heavy. Then the stress got really high and excitement was at its maximum. I myself am quite anxious to know the result. The discovery of 226 milligrams of gold was a source of comfort and happiness. Parker's bet on the old waste rock had been successful, and how will Parker navigate the challenges that lie ahead? Stay tuned for more gold, more drama, and more excitement in the world of Gold Rush. Gold digging is known to be a good way to make money, but as miners get better and go deeper, they find things other than gold. Some of these things are as useless as metal bits, while others are as valuable as gold itself. Let's look into how Parker finds mammoth tusks while he's looking for cash. Parker Schnabel's strange find. Parker Schnabel is used to getting his hands dirty and getting down on the ground when he's looking for money. He began working at the family mine when he was a youngster in the first season. Beginning with the second season, the young man took over the family mines and has been one of the most famous gold miners ever since. Other mine bosses have a hard time, but Schnabel seems to have the Midas touch because his team gets thousands of ounces of gold every season, which is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. After 10 episodes on Gold Rush, Parker has saved up a dime wealth, which is thought to be around $10 million. He's not going to slow down anytime soon. However, the miner has found more than just gold in the fields. He told them about some other strange things he had seen on his trips. There is a lot of stuff buried here. There's a good chance that miners have found some strange things on their trips. Parker doesn't find gold, but he does find something that many archaeologists would love. In an interview with the Maelstrom, he talked about the strange thing he found while mining for gold and how it might be the most important thing he had that wasn't gold. It was interesting that he told them he had found a pair of well-preserved woolly mammoth teeth. These tusks are very well preserved because they are made of ivory and were buried in permafrost, which kept them safe from the cold weather. Some of them were found in perfect shape, even though woolly mammoths went extinct a very long time ago. Finding fossils of preserved bodies makes us think about what makes a thing. Alaska is a place where mammogram tusks are sometimes found. They have a lot of value and help an industry grow. Because these tusks are made of ivory, they can be very valuable if they are kept in good shape. In some cases, they can sell for more than $1 million each. Parker and his team on Gold Rush might not find anything more valuable than gold, but mammoth tusks are definitely among the most expensive things that have ever been found. To make a long story short, the mammoth tusks he found would be worth a lot of money, because people are willing to buy almost anything. But Schnabel says he won't sell the tusks, even though they are valuable and could be valuable. To sell those kinds of things, he would have to get a lot of different permits, which he doesn't want to do. He doesn't want to kill the tusks, instead, he wants to keep them. He thinks they're really cool and that they shouldn't be sold. And no one can blame him. He already makes a lot of money from the gold he finds, so it makes sense for him to keep the strange things he finds along the way. Even more so when he can happily say that he owns well-preserved mammoth tusks. So, if you ever go to Parker Schnabel's house, don't be shocked if you find some huge mammoth teeth waiting for you. The huge tusks are the cherry on top of Parker's successful job choice. He doesn't seem like he's going to stop working anytime soon, so we can say that more finds are on the way. As of now, it looks like the search for an unusual prize on Gold Rush is far from over. A famous gold miner on the show found something truly amazing. Another strange find on Gold Rush, Tony Beats found something very important at his new spot in Paradise Hills. Instead of finding gold like most people do, he found a tusk that had a special meaning for this part of Alaska. While exploring the site, he saw the tusk sticking out of the ground. With the help of his son Mike and their tools, they were able to dig up the bone, which Mike at first thought was a jawbone. Tony chose to have paleontologists look at it more closely. The remains of a woolly mammoth that was found earlier may be related to the tusks that were found on Gold Rush, according to experts. Since the Klondike Gold Rush more than 100 years ago, miners have kept finding these kinds of bones. One of the best things about the Yukon area is that it is known for finding animals from the Ice Age. Others had heard that Tony had found the bones of horses and zebras before, but this one made people think of the woolly mammoth. Gold Rush says that the baby mammogram is at least 30,000 years old, and the ground and ice in the area are thought to have kept the animals alive during the Ice Age. During the Gold Rush, people saw more strange things than just elephant tusks. Miners have seen things besides the god they were looking for. Parker saw something that blew his mind in particular. Meeting the welcome stranger face to face. Parker Schnabel almost passed out when he saw a copy of Welcome Stranger. It is the biggest gold nugget that has ever been found. We saw that he was half a world away from the Klondike Gold Rush Trail in Season 4, Episode 2 called Installment of Gold Rush Parker's Trail. He was looking for new experiences and chances. At the start of the show, Parker and his partner Fred Lewis were greeted by Tyler Mahoney, a fourth-generation Australian gold prospector. She opened her truck door and put a 2-foot-long golden boulder across the back seat. A story says that the welcome stranger was so big that it had to be broken in 3 on a hammer so that it could fit on a bank scale. The nugget would be worth about $4.7 million if it were sold today at the rate at which Hold is sold. The original welcome stranger was turned into gold bars a long time ago, but 2 perfect copies are still around. Two of them are on show in Melbourne's old Treasury building. One is owned by Deason's descendants and is kept there. The one that was taken from Mahoney's truck is thought to belong to the Deason family. And column built in 1897 still stands in Mollyagle to mark the spot where the nugget was found. Parker and no other modern gold miner found it, so the question is, who made this huge find that even Parker couldn't believe it? The Victorian gold rush happened in the 1850s, when a lot of people with big dreams went to Victoria, Australia, to try to make money. They came from all over Australia and other places around the world. I felt very happy for a short time. Some people hit it big and were rich for life, but for most, they never got that rich. It was true for two Cornish miners on February 5, 1869. Luck did come their way. John Deason was born on Tresco in the Isles of Scilly. When he was 1 year old, his fishing father drowned, and the family moved to Pendeen in West Cornwall. In this place, he met Richard Oates, who would become his partner. In the 1851 census, both of them were working in the tin mines of Cornwall. It was 1853 when Mr. Deason moved to Australia, and a year later, Mr. Oates did the same thing to become a gold prospector. They went to Mollyagle in 1862 and made a living there for 7 years. Then, in 1864, they hit gold. They found the amazing thing that made history, a huge piece of gold wrapped in quartz that was hidden just below the surface of a slope called Bulldog Gully. Mr. Deason wrote that he tried to use the pick to pick up the rock, but the handle broke because it was so big. He then got a crowbar and dug the nugget out of the ground. It was weighed at the London Chartered Bank in Dunolly, which is about 12 miles away. The nugget was broken up right away because the scales were too big to make a model or take pictures of it. Because people who saw it remember it, a drawing was made of it, and there is now a copy in the Dunolly Museum. Miners in places with lots of gold keep finding important things. For sure, Parker Schnabel has shown that he is a strong person. Let's take a quick look back at his amazing journey. The sparkling nugget. Parker had to find his way through a world full of new claims and cutting-edge technology advances in Season 10 of Gold Rush. A big event happened in the middle of all the digging activity. The electrified nugget was found. Parker, his team, and Gold Rush fans were all very excited about the find because it was so rare and special. When Parker set out on his quest, people were most excited about finding bigger and better things. He hoped to haul and grow his business across Klondike and Scribner Creek. The electric nugget was about 41.8 ounces in weight and got its name from a dendritic crystal attic that looked like lightning bolts. The nugget's unique feature makes it stand out from other finds and a rare natural wonder, which raises its value above its face value. As the season went on, episode 15, $1 Million Payday, became a strong candidate for showing the exciting secret. In the end, the explosive nugget adds a brilliant chapter to Parker's history of hold mining. Its market value is high because it is hard to find and has a beautiful crystal structure. It will always be remembered as an important and memorable gold rush find. The bounty at Eureka Creek. Parker set out on a dangerous adventure at the start of Season 7 of Gold Rush. He learned about how hard the mining business is by dealing with problems like broken equipment, unstable hold yields, and the risks of unexplored terrain. Even so, he wasn't going to give up. He invested in cutting-edge technology and tweaked his business to meet his challenges and make a huge recovery. Around the middle of the season, there was a big change, and watchers saw Parker's work at Eureka Creek start to pay off. After that, there was a long time of impressive gold recovery, which is where the name Eureka Creek Bounty comes from. The peak of this reward was reached by episodes like Eureka Payday and Kingknoff Klondike. Parker always found a lot of gold, going above and beyond what fans expected and what he had found before. It was impossible to hold back their happiness as the team enjoyed the results of their hard work and persistence. One thing that makes the Eureka Creek Bounty unique is that it was a turning point. Parker's constant success in finding gold in the area made him a leader in the tough world of gold mining. Because he kept having success, he was able to move his business to other places and buy better technology and tools. Even though Parker has found a lot of gold, he is still losing money. Since he started working as a miner when he was 16, he has lost a lot of money. Allow us to look at some of the losses he has went through. A huge $3 million loss. Parker and his team put a lot of money into an area in Alaska and then got 108 ounces of gold from the waste that old gold miners left behind. But what really made things better was an area called the Wolf Cut. It was untouched land that was thought to have more than 2,000 ounces of gold and be worth more than $3 million. They even called this wolf cut the most important pit of the season because of how much information it gave them. Parker's crew needed 2 months just to get to the pay layer of the cut because the area is so deep. Things don't always go as planned, though. That's how things were for the team. A terrible flood a few weeks ago turned the wolf into a lake. Because it was so hard, Parker thought it would be better to take all the money and go to Vegas than to drown in the wolf cut. Parker, who was known for being stubborn, wouldn't just give up the place. After some trouble, the team was able to push back the water, and Mark Fours, who was in charge of the operation, finally came down to get the treasure. Parker was keen to find out if there was enough gold for them to risk everything. He went to one spot and moved the dirt around, but it needed to be better. He finally found some fine dirt in another part of the cut, which meant there was gold there. Parker chose to go work and come back in 2 days with the crew. But just when it looked like everything was going to plan and they were going to get some gold, something shocked the whole crew. There was a hole in the wall and mud and water were pouring out of it. It was clear that Mother Nature was not on their side that day. The water that they thought they had gotten rid of was back, but this time it was stronger and a bigger problem than the last time. People on the crew didn't think this would happen. The wolf cut could be filled with it again, which would mean a big loss. An excavator hit the side of the pit while digging for pay at the bottom of the cut. This revealed a mine shaft that was full of water, which flooded millions of gallons of water back into the pit and filled the pay grounds. There was nothing wrong with the crew's preparation, they just needed to be more ready. They had one 8-inch pump, but they needed more to get the job done. The second pump was turned on, but it didn't make a big difference. There was still water coming in from all sides. The team lost the battle against the water after they turned on both pumps. They had no choice but to take the pump out of the wash plant. It was such a big choice, though, and Parker should have made the call. The problem was that he wasn't there or answering his phone. They were in a tough spot. The area would flood if they didn't pull the pump from the wash plant to help the other 2 pumps, and they would lose their pay in the wolf cut. It would be hard to believe how much would be lost. Tyler made the tough choice to turn off the wash plant and remove its pump, which doubled their ability to drain. They had to leave the area while the pumps did their thing. In 24 hours, the pumps took away 10 million gallons of water. Parker finally came back, and he was very excited to see the first edit of the wolf cut. Instead, people told him stories about the flood that had happened. Parker's trouble with water was still going on, though. In a different story, he came into contact with water again when his mining ground in the wolf cut was taken over by water. Underwater mine site. Parker was looking for a pay streak in the 4-acre wolf cut on his Alaskan claim. He hoped that it would bring him at least 1,000 ounces this season. The pay dirt was 30 feet below, and the team had to dig out 1,000 yards of extra material to get to it. 4 feet more, and they would be below water. After that, it would be 30 feet before they hit rocks. But things weren't really fine as they seemed at first. The process was going on right next to a pond, and water would be the first thing that would go wrong if something went wrong. Frozen mud was the best option because it kept the water out. Recruit John Baudry was told to deal with the mud and keep the water out, but it looked like the cut was pretty wet, so they had to call their boss. If not, things will go badly if they do. It turned out that the mud got worse and spread faster as they opened up more areas. They still hadn't even cut out a fifth of the area. The wolf cut is